In the world of 198 nations, 59 of them have abortion available, which means 139 nations in the world do not allow abortion. Of the 59 that have it available, they have varying levels of reasons, all the way from to save the life of the mother, and that's only, to abortion on demand, all the way up to the time of birth. Spectrum. 59 nations have that spectrum. How many nations allow abortion after 20 weeks? Of the 59, allow abortion after 20 weeks. Now, some of you may say, I'm not that versed in this topic. Why is 20 weeks significant? Well, 20 weeks is significant for a couple reasons. Number one, because most infants are viable at some level at 20 weeks. In other words, a lot of babies could live at 20 weeks. Secondly, there's all kinds of information that a child, a baby, would feel pain in the process of an abortion at 20 weeks. So the question is, how many nations have said you can have an abortion after 20 weeks? Out of the 198 nations and the 59, 7. There are only 7 nations on the planet. 3 of them are communist. In other words, they have an ideology that's part of their system where they do not believe in a God or any accountability or any afterlife. And they persecute or tolerate religion depending on the whims of the people at the time. Those would be China, Vietnam, and North Korea. So 3 of them are communist. One of them is an island, Singapore, which leaves 3 Western countries, Canada, the Netherlands, and the United States. Only 3 that have a Christian background. Now, here's the big challenge. If you believe that God has given life to individuals, like God creates life, and He's the author of life, then every life should be protected, right? That would be a Christian value, the protection of life. And throughout the history of the church has taken in kids that have been discarded and abandoned. That's been one of the hallmarks of the church, orphanages and so forth, to help children when the culture says, we don't want these kids. We can't do this. So that's Christian theology. And yet, we live in a nation that, compared to the Holocaust, 6 million Jews being killed, and we go, how in the world could the Nazis do that? We have 11 times more than 6 million in the form of abortions that have taken place since Roe v. Wade in this country. We're approaching 70 million human lives. Now, I bring that to our attention because that's what everybody's going to be talking about over the next several weeks. It's a real issue that's taking place in our country today. And I would ask you, if you said, when it comes to a human rights violation where 70 million people lost their lives, how many of you would say, that's not us? Never here. But it actually is. It actually is. So if God decides, guys, I'm just done with this. I'm done with this. Would we say, God, you can't do that because we're so good? How good are we? How good are we?
These bastards that are in office who are passing these laws deserve to be voted out.
But let's make no mistake about who Wendy Davis is, right? Wendy Davis didn't just stand up on the floor of the Texas Senate in favor of abortion. She couches it as she stood on the floor of the Texas Senate in favor of women's health and promoting women's health. But what do we know about what did she do? We know that she was on the floor of the Texas Senate with people in the gallery shouting, "Hail Satan," while she was standing up saying, we need to have abortion on demand all the way through birth. That was what that filibuster was about in 2013. Even some in this room may have forgotten that, right? Well, all we think about is she filibusters about abortion. But she was filibustering for post-20-week abortion, which is far out of step, not just for the majority of this country, but with civilized societies around the world, Western Europe and elsewhere. Those values are completely out of lockstep with what we believe because we value and believe in life. We cherish life. We cherish the life that God gave each and every one of us. When we talk about the Declaration of Independence and those values, it's about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's what it's about. That very first thing we talk about is life.
The hallway outside the Texas State Senate seemed almost like the backstage of a rock concert after the special session.
Defeat was due in large part to a marathon of words led by one Democrat. We're going to speak with Wendy Davis in just a moment. But first, Manuel Bajorca shows us why she is now the talk of politics far beyond Austin, Texas.
The marathon filibuster that went viral has turned a little-known Texas lawmaker into a national political star.
There's a poll out down there by the Texas Tribune that says 60% of Texans support banning abortions after 20 weeks, which is one of the things that this bill would do.
You know, I think really what's happening here, Bob, is politicians are using this issue to boost their own political aspirations, their own political ambition.
The bill does not specifically try to close abortion clinics. It says they have to meet certain medical standards in order to operate. Here's what, in the story of this young woman, she's so spirited. You know, she has such energy and she seems to have such commitment. But it seems to me, and I think it seems to many Americans, that what she is speaking for and standing for is something we would recognize as infanticide, late-term abortion, the taking of a little child's life. That is really, really serious. And so part of me thinks that she's a fabulous young woman, and part of me thinks, oh my goodness, we're celebrating something that even in Europe they call a matter of brutality and barbarism.
Wendy Davis is a celebrity in the abortion industry, nicknamed Abortion Rights Queen by Planned Parenthood, an organization which aborted 340,000 babies in 2019 alone. She helped them raise millions of dollars giving speeches around the nation, even considering taking over as their new president. Now Davis is hoping to resurrect her political career, and this time around she rarely talks about her extreme abortion views. Her campaign ads rewrite the history of her filibuster, claiming it was about defending women's health centers. A curious euphemism for the place where hundreds of thousands of baby girls' lives are terminated every year. She is endorsed by every major pro-abortion group in the nation, and money is pouring into the Lone Star State from all around the country. Thankfully, Texans have a better choice. Chip Roy, a cancer survivor and father of 2, has spent his career protecting the lives of Americans who can't fight for themselves. As a U.S. attorney, he put gang members behind bars. As an assistant attorney general of Texas, he defended the state's laws against drug cartels and helped to establish the Human Trafficking Task Force. As a U.S. congressman, he has developed a track record of fighting for human life and safe communities. And finally, Roy has earned an A rating on the Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life Scorecard.